Hi YouTube, how are you doing, and welcome back to Phasmophobia. The new major update for Phasmo has arrived, and it includes a lot of exciting stuff. In this update, we get the Christmas event, which includes a Christmas trophy that you can earn for yourself in the game, as well as the next big update, so there is a lot to cover in this video. I'll be going over all the patch notes. Literally just woke up because I wanted to hop in this as soon as possible. When this video goes live, I'll be live streaming over on Twitch literally all day. You can join us via the first link in the description. But anyway, in this video, we're going to go over the patch notes. I hope you join us. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. But let's not waste any more time, and let's see what they got in store for us. Welcome back. We've got an update for you. With all of the recent paranormal interference, the weather around certain locations has become more hazardous and intense. Ghosts have been haunting in locations longer and longer each night, with some disappearing just before the sun comes up. Will you brave these new conditions? With this new update comes a host of small features, improvements, and options. Additionally, there will also be another large update in the near future, 8.1, to add more features and surprises. Here we go. Holiday 2022. From now until early January, you can take part in the Phasmophobia 2022 Christmas event. Earn yourself a unique holiday trophy for your collection, as well as an exclusive Holiday 22 ID card and badge. That you can actually use to play in public lobbies. You can show off this badge, which is really cool. Now, I will apparently find out more information by clicking the holiday sticker on the main menu. So that's absolutely one of the things we're going to be doing today on stream. I'll just be getting this holiday trophy, seeing what it's all about, so you can join us on stream for that one. I don't really know. I can't say more. Reward changes. Custom difficulty. With the addition of custom difficulty, we've seen so many exciting, unique, and challenging games being created, but we'd like to redirect what purpose of custom games is, and there are several reasons why. We'd like custom difficulty to be primarily used for fun and interesting game with unique twists, similar to other games with a custom game mode, without the worry of how much you're getting out of it. Okay. It's very difficult to balance each option's reward, absolutely agree, to have a corresponding and fair reward multiplier. Because of this, it is incredibly quick to create games that are potentially much easier or faster than the default difficulty counterparts, but give the same or even more rewards, which makes the default modes redundant. There's definitely a lot of situations you can create where you make so much money in the game with just very little that you have to do, like some very easy difficulties that give you a ton of money. With our analytics and player data, we can see that the large majority of players still play on intermediate and professional, which also, I also saw that on the poll that I posted a few weeks ago, where I asked what difficulty you guys play, and the vast majority of all of you play on professional, like over 50%. So, and according to CJ, it's about like the same. So the equal amount of people play intermediate and professional, which I found very interesting. The difference between the actual player base and the people that watch my videos. That a lot more of the people that watch my videos play professional. Having a set reward per custom option makes them very fragile and limits what we can change for the default difficulties or any future difficulties we'd like to add to the game. Lastly, with the large upcoming changes with the Progression 2, we'd like experience and money to be gained fairly for every player and try to avoid any cheesy tactic if we can. I do agree with this because I think there were some things you could do, especially on Sunny Meadows with some difficulty settings where you could get like hundreds of levels every hour and thousands of in-game dollars every hour, which is just so much more than you used to be able to do. And the main reason why you could do this is because you would basically bypass the entire playing of the game. You would not even get the ghost. You would just like cheese the rewards basically. Because of these reasons, we are making the following changes to the customs rewards. Custom will now have an 80% reduction of play. I think this is not the way to do it. I was like reading this and I was like, I hope they're not going to do something like this. This is not the way to do it, because this just exacerbates the problem. Instead of making it so like capping it where you can't do these like super cheesy runs to get a ton of money, you're punishing everyone who's just playing a fun difficulty. So I would way rather see something to like tackle the extreme situations where you can get like a 20 times modifier without even doing anything, because this doesn't really attack that situation. It mostly attacks everyone else who is just playing normal difficulties, chill difficulties, and just having a ton of fun with that, and then reduces their rewards to below a nightmare mode or something like that. I feel like that's not really the way to do it. I hope they revise this or like somewhat tweak this, because I think this could have been done better. We know this is a huge change, but this should separate custom games into a challenge and fun mode and keep the default difficulties as the main route for character progression. I think they should do some kind of log skill where the higher your reward, the less it impacts the outcome, but not the lower rewards. Like below 10, you really shouldn't hurt the rewards too much, in my opinion, at least. Let me know what you think. In the second part of this major update, coming soon, TM, we will be adding something special for those wanting a regular, harder challenge than Nightmare and something super special. Okay, so they're gonna add actual new difficulties that you can play on to get the basic, like, the custom difficulty reward without the 80% reduction, or the, wait. Oh my god, wait, are you kidding me? I didn't even realize how the 80% reduction? Does this mean you get 80% or you get less than? Wait, this is insane. I didn't even realize how bad this was. Wait, they're just completely nerfing custom difficulty to the ground? You get an 80% reduction? So you only make 20%? Okay, yeah, well, I'll just talk to the devs a little bit, because that's an insane change. I don't see any reason why that should be done. Okay, anyway, let me know what you think. 80%, so you basically custom difficulty is useless now. That's crazy. Note, current and future challenges, like the Apocalypse Challenge, will still be accessible in custom and still grant trophies for your collection. Okay. Good. Let's move on to the rest one. I know we're all a little bit worked up about this one, but let's move on to the rest, because there's a lot to go over, especially the ghost types changes are really cool. They got a Revenant change that I'm incredibly excited about. Investigation bonuses. To compensate for the above changes, we're adding some additional rewards for playing well in the default difficulties, which will reward players who have the sharpest eye for ghost identification. We'll also be changing the rewards for secondary objectives to encourage players to complete the primary objective each game instead of ignoring it. Added payments page to the journal. Investigation bonus: if you can identify the ghost correctly and escape alive, you will double the money and experience you earn for the primary and secondary objectives you completed that hunt. Okay, so ghost is really, really important. You can double your overall rewards. Okay, so that already makes this 20 to 40 if you can actually figure it out. So that's a slight change or slight buff to that. Perfect investigation bonus: if you manage to complete the above, but additionally collect the bone and fill your journal with 3-star photos, which any 3-star photos works for that, you will gain an additional sum of money and experience on top of the investigation bonus. Second, we don't know how much. Secondary objectives have had their rewards reduced to make way for the investigation bonuses. So they're, once again, like, I kind of feel like sometimes they forget the little guy in these changes. Like, what about the players who are bad at the game? Which, I'm not flaming you, but there are so many people who just play this game to chill and literally die every single game, and they make no money. I've had so many people comment on my videos that they say that they can't play the game because they don't make any money, they have no items whatsoever, and they just keep dying and the game's too hard now. Which, I know you can play on the easier difficulties, but even on those difficulties, you won't make any money now if you can't figure out the ghost. So that's kind of like, it really hurts the lower level player, and it really buffs that. It like creates this big divide between the people that are just so good at the game that they can't really fail, and people who are just like figuring it out and learning the game. So it's kind of hurting the new players, which I love new players. I want new players to join the game. I love this game. So yeah, we'll see. This is obviously just preliminary, so it could be changed in the next updates, but we'll give our feedback. Like, I'm always honest with my feedback when it comes to the devs. Like, if they add something that's just bad, I'm there to say it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. Like, people always are like, "Yo, you're affected by your relationship to the devs." Absolutely not. I'm even more I scrutinize the game even more because of that. So anyway, ghost types. This is where the exciting stuff happens. With every update, we'd like to look into which ghosts need some love. We found that some ghosts needed some buffs and some needed changes to help with low evidence hunts. All right, low evidence hunts. Is there? I didn't look if there's an Obake or a Gorio. Oh, Obake, I see it right there. Oh, let's go. All ghosts, hunting ghost models flicker are now synced across all players, which should help hunt photo reliability. Let's go. Oh, that's why the photo during the hunt usually fails when you're playing multiplayer, because the blinks aren't synced. Oh, interesting. When hunting, ghosts now affects light at the same range as equipment if on the same floor. Raichu, 15 meters. All other ghosts, 10 meters. When hunting, ghosts now affect lights at the same range as equipment. Okay, so that's for the room light. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I just woke up. Don't judge me. Wraith. Wraiths have been adjusted to match their journal description better. Wraith will never step in assault pal. Updated journal weakness. Okay, so this is actually kind of a nerf to no evidence, because when the Wraith steps in the salt, you could just take a photo of the salt, and if it didn't say footstep, it would instantly be a Wraith. So that was a lot easier, because it's like an instant rule out, whereas now it's going to be a passive rule out, where you kind of have to place like salt in a like bottleneck, and then if the ghost leaves the room and didn't step in the salt, you know, like, okay. Or you can do a trick where if the ghost is a ghost event and it walks towards you, you can place salt under the ghost as it walks towards you, and if it doesn't step in it, you instantly know it's a Wraith as well. But during a hunt, they don't step in salt, by the way. Anyway, Obake. Obake have finally remembered how to shapeshift. Oh, baby. During a hunt, Obake have a 6.66 chance each time it flickers to shapeshift into a different ghost form. Now that they're doing this, they will have then, let me read this first before I start talking. They will then return back to their original form. This is guaranteed to happen at least once per hunt, so keep your eyes peeled. Okay. I would love for them to add, additionally to different ghost form, also the player form. Imagine it turns into a player for like a blink. That'd be so cool. And if they're gonna make it change into new ghost models, then might as well do that as well. Because it said in the journal that they can turn into human-like shapes, which would be so sick. Imagine being chased by your friend. That'd be awesome. Okay, Revenant. I love it. The legendary Revenant has been left behind, absolutely, in the ranks of the new threatening ghosts. So we're finally returning some former glory to the Speed Beast and adjusting how this ghost hunts, hopefully placing them back on the podium. Instead of slowing down instantly, ever losing line of sight, Revenant will keep their increased speed until it reaches your last known position. This is literally the exact change that I've suggested several months ago, because what feels so broken about the Revenant is that if you're like walking around with your flashlight and you break line of sight, it'll just immediately become like a snail, which I think it will be really cool if in order to counter the Revenant, you have to both break line of sight fast, and then you also have to like turn off your equipment fast so it doesn't keep tracking you, because if you keep your equipment on, the ghost will, even when it doesn't see you, set your new known position to wherever that equipment is. So as soon as you like flick on your flashlight and it's in range, it'll go to your location, which is so cool. I love that. Their speed will now decrease gradually over 2.7 seconds instead of instantly. Oh my god. Okay, so this is a huge buff for Revenant. Gee, that's crazy. I love it. I love it. Revenant's back on top, baby. So yeah, that looks awesome. They both get their... This is a big change. Like, this is gonna make it kill so many people, because that was like a huge thing, that it would just be a snail immediately, and then their speed will decrease instead of instantly. Oh my god, I can't wait to see this. That's awesome. Okay, Goryo. As Goryo have a history of disobeying their roaming changes, we finally put an end to the over-exploring ghost. Goryo can no longer change favorite room or roam long distances. Thank you. That is such an important change, and I can't believe it's taken this long. Goryos are so annoying, and the fact that they are finally unable to roam, because there were so many times when the Goryo would just roam around and would just ignore its own characteristics, so that is amazing. That just allows Goryos to finally not be as big of a problem during a no evidence run as well. All right. Hantu's secret ability visuals have been adjusted. Have you also changed, because no one really knows about this hidden ability? Hantu's cold breath will now place in any room during hunts if the breaker is off. Yes. Hantu's cold breath visuals have been improved. Okay, so this is still not that important, because the main way to figure out a Hantu is to like turn on the breaker and see if it's slow. That's the safest way to do it. But there was another ability where the Hantu would basically do the freezing breath that you do when you're in a cold room. If the player's in a cold room, you start doing your freezing breath. That is what the Hantu would also do, but no one really knew that, because the only time it did that is if the room was below freezing, which meant only the ghost room. And who's gonna be in the ghost room with a Hantu that is moving at like max, like super fast speed? Who would be that stupid? Like, you wouldn't do that. So it basically didn't matter. So I'm glad that they changed it so that this is something you could do if you have like a broken breaker or something. You could do this still. Yurei can no longer use their ability when there is no door. That's just a shit change. I hope they were gonna do... So the suggestion I have for the Yurei is that instead of when you smudge it, it stays in the room. When you smudge it, it leaves the room. Like, and every time I suggest that, they go like, well, we got something planned for the Ure. We don't do ghost changes because we're going to do them in the future. But you're doing ghost changes. Just change the Ure for the time being and make it like an actual fun ghost, because the Ure is like the most boring ghost in the game. It does absolutely nothing. Like the ability with closing or opening the door. Also, I feel like the opening is a bug, by the way. It's so bullshit. It's such a bullshit ability that just like almost never happens, and they have made it even rarer. The Ure can no longer use their ability when there's no door in its current room, so it's even going to be even harder to figure out the ghost. So yeah, I really don't understand why they're so against changing these small things to the ghost to make them better right now. Like, I know you got stuff planned for this ghost. I know, CJ. I know you're watching. I know, but it's really not that bad to do a change now and then revert it later. Like, if you're going to have this change for like half a year, that just means that half a year people are a lot more happy with this ghost, instead of having it be like a wait for this ghost to actually mean anything. But anyway, okay, Ure is now the worst ghost, but they still have Goryo and Obake changes, which is really, really cool. New stuff. The Unity this is the big one, by the way. The Unity rendering pipeline has been updated to Unity rendering pipeline. Is that what that stands for? Or URP? I don't know what URP stands for. Maybe someone in the comments will tell me. Spreading some of the load to GPU usage, increasing CPU performance, and allowing us to access new features. So this is actually the main change. It's kind of putting away a new right here, but it is one of the main changes of this update. I know they spend a very long time working on this, because obviously when you tear out some parts of a game and put them back together in a better way, it takes a long time to do that without breaking everything else. So big props on that one. I don't know how much it's going to affect our gameplay. It might help a lot of slower PCs to actually be better. Also, fog has returned. Fog will now only be where it makes sense and has received a visual overhaul. Locations will start at the same temperature as clear weather. Okay, so you're gonna have fog now again, which, remember fog? That's been a while. I can't wait to see that. Sunrise weather has been added. Locations will start with temperatures between 10 and 18 degrees. Sunrise, sick. Weather effects have been completely recreated from the ground up. Rain and snow have received large performance increases and improved visuals. Every time I played with CJ, he was like, oh, this is the old Rain. It looks so disgusting. So yeah, he's been playing so much with the new Rain that he was like, this looks nasty. So yeah, I can't wait to see that. New graphics options have been added. Skylight for enabling sun or moonlight in each location. Wait, you can hunt during the day? Wait, that's amazing. Screen space ambient occlusion. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Fog quality fidelity FX 1.0 and AI upscaling for better performance. Look at that. Only compatible with AMD or newer NVIDIA GTX 10 series GPUs and newer. Okay. So if you don't have this, then you're out of luck. Anti-aliasing options. You can now choose between FX. Oh, you can choose between all the different ones. VR can only choose MSAA. Okay. You can now place crucifixes, and this was a change that we already saw in the content creator section. When placing a crucifix, you can now see the range of its effect on the environment. So if you place it, you will see like this bubble around it where it'll like stop the ghost hunts. We're just gonna make it a lot clearer for newer players how to use the crucifix. Added a text option for voice recognition. This will show UI for selecting what question to ask on the spirit box and the Ouija board. Look at that. So if you're talking without a mic, you now have some more options to actually use the Ouija board. Because what is super stupid, if you don't have a mic or your voice recognition doesn't work, the Ouija board, once you turn it on, you cannot turn it off, and it will trigger a hunt when you walk away, or it will just break. So that's a kind of a weird thing. If you swap to a new PC or reinstall Windows, your save will now revert to your personal cloud backup. Let's go. All right. More changes. Sorry, I'm scrolling. I'm using Windows 11 now. Apparently, the scroll wheel zooms in instead of like making the scrolling down in the image. Changes. The smudge sticks burn effect has been improved. The haunted mirrors effect and visibilities have been improved. Transparent objects and effects will now receive shadows from lights. Resetting your save file will now wipe your cloud backup, which I would never do, but if you want to do that, more power to you. Improved performance on campsite maps. Nice. Fingerprints have been moved on Willow's doors to be more consistently placed. Radios are now interactable with the breaker off. Makes sense. All players must now be further than 5 meters from the Ouija board before it breaks, instead of just a person who activated it. Ah, come on. That was so funny. You could start the board and then run away from someone to break it, but I guess it was kind of stupid. So I like that change. The Ouija board will now auto-deactivate when walking outside the map. Okay, so you can no longer break it by walking outside of the map, okay? Sanity pills no longer disappear when using them. Instead, they now drop on the floor and are no longer usable. Are they going to be empty as well? The model is going to be empty, I'm guessing. Improved all candle wax effect, which is a little cluttery, honestly, that it's going to be like pills all over the ground. But anyway, improved all candle wax effects when lit. Improved 2 hiding spots in Sunny Meadows, one by the restricted area door and the one... I know this one. And one in the restricted wing. I know this one because CJ, when I was playing with CJ, he died in this hiding spot. So he was like, fuck this shit. I'm improving this. Let's go. Small tent cloth is now translucent, so you can see through it. All right. Fixes. Okay, here we go. A lot of stuff. Oh, actually, not that much stuff. The average sanity objective will now complete at the same time for all players. The bone will no longer spawn inside other objects. Good stuff. Tripods no longer count as electronic equipment after removing a camcorder. Willow windows are now the correct way around. Okay. The complete daily challenges weekly will now only trigger when a daily challenge completes instead of when it progresses. Okay. You can no longer scroll to another item while placing something. Okay. The ghost room will... I wonder what you could do with that. The ghost room will now show on the board in the truck in training. I felt like that was already the case, but I guess when they changed the truck, they forgot to add this back in. Okay. The Diogen Spirit Box reply will now work if... What the hell, by the way? The training was impossible to complete. Imagine having to... Okay, interesting, because it used to say that. I didn't even realize that. The Diogen Spirit Box reply will now work if you are not crouched. What? It only worked when you were crouched? That explains why it was so rare. The morgue door VR grab points is now in the correct position, so you can no longer break the doors, I'm guessing. Hitting the crouch button, then physically crouching in VR no longer pushes you enough into the floor that the ghost cannot kill you. Computer monitors in prison no longer turn off when the power is off. The ghost repelled... Wait, why not? Isn't that like the point? The ghost repelled stat will now count if you are not the host, okay? The Sunny Meadows, the female hallway light switch will no longer toggle the utility room's light. Journal on-off buttons are much clearer to understand. The accept button, EULA accept button will no longer be clickable until you scroll the button. Yes, makes sense. The object's move stat will now correctly count poltergeist throws. Let's go. The inventory will no longer break if you grab more than one item before joining a game. Room reflections will now be accurate after turning a light on and off quickly. Russian and Ukrainian fonts will no longer have gray boxes around most characters. VR death room spawn position is now correct. Okay, so main changes, weather, the hidden change of making the game run better, and the ghost, lots of ghost changes, as well as obviously the Christmas event that I am very excited for. I do hope they kind of revise some of these reward changes. The 80% is like crazy. I mean, I guess they just don't want you to use custom difficulty for rewards, but I feel like there would have been a better option. But anyway, we get to talk about that on stream. I hope to see you there. I hope you enjoyed learning about the new update. I will see you on stream. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you liked the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. And if you want to join us, first link in the description. I'll see you there. Thank you very much for watching. Bye, guys.